Hi everybody, welcome to this pick a card reading. We're going to look at surprises coming your way in April. So stay tuned to pick your pile and then get to your reading. So we're going to look at, like I said, the surprise that's coming to you, but also like what you need to know and what can help you unlock that surprise. All right. So if this is your first pick a card reading, this is the cards for pile 1, cards for pile 2, and cards for pile 3. You can go ahead and pick by, choosing maybe the colors here. Each are representative of a chakra, for example, in this case. And then you can also choose the crystals. I've associated 2 crystals to each pile here. So you can go ahead and pick that way. What else? You can also hover your hand above each pile. And if it tingles, you can choose that way. Like I said, you can do whatever you wish to do. You can also use just the number 1, 2, 3, whichever number speaks to you most. And then once you've done that, just go to the description box and then find the timestamp that's associated with your cards. And there you go. And then that'll be your reading waiting for you. Yeah, I'll see you soon. All right, pile number 1, welcome back. This is your reading. So we're going to jump right in, but maybe before jumping right in, actually, just as a side note, I have been working on an oracle deck, a mindset oracle deck, and it's fully finished. It needs maybe a little editing here and there, but overall it's finished. I just need to launch it and have the physical product done. But I also have a digital version of it. And right now I'm giving it for free. You can go in the description box and find the link to it if you would like to check it out and also use it as a guide for yourself. Like if you need a card for your week or anything along those lines to help you out with whatever you're going through. I find it super useful to have like a card or something that you can pull for my week. That's what I do. So I'm giving it a way to make, mindset available for everybody. So it's all about, like your emotional well-being, how to navigate situations that might be like difficult, but also like how to tap into your positivity and things like that. So yeah, so you can go ahead and find the link in the description box. It's the Mindset Oracle deck. So let's get to your reading. Pile number 1, I'll just put, I'll leave this card that you picked for last. Okay, we're going to do this a bit differently this time. I'm just going to set it aside. I don't want to put it like where you can't see it at all. So I'm just going to put it to the side here. And then we're going to go ahead and flip the first set of cards that we have for you. So we have the card here that speaks of releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past life, and being unbound, so removing chains. And right off the bat, it's making me think of like potentially releasing a person, releasing a relationship that's currently like not working for you. So that might be something that speaks to you in your life right now. But yeah, there's definitely a need to release something that's potentially like toxic in your life, that's just not working out. It doesn't need to be like toxic per se, but like something that just isn't jiving with you anymore. And I think you'll know, like if you pick this pile, I think you already kind of know what this is about. So I think for April, the surprise kind of coming your way is the fact that you'll be able to release this, and sorry for my daughter screaming in the background. She's a tiny little baby. She's really cute and she's playing with her dad right now. I love her to pieces. But yeah, so sorry if you hear little noises here and there as I go through your reading. So, okay, let's get back to this. So what was I saying? So I think, yeah, for April, the surprise that's coming to you is the fact that you'll be able to release whatever this, whatever chains are holding you back right now, whatever chains you think you still have currently, you will be breaking free. Like, I don't know if you can see on this card, but it's like this woman is just breaking free from those previous chains that were holding her back. So that's very positive, definitely. And it might be habits and things like that you have, certain addictions or things like that, potentially even. But that might be true for some of you. But I'm also sensing like something to do with another person. our relationships reflect back to us what needs to be healed within us, right? So if we're like constantly attracted to like, you know, like let's say emotionally unavailable men, for example, or women or whatever you're into, what it's telling us is that there's like potentially a wound within us that needs to be healed, like maybe something to do with like self-love, to do with like setting like a proper foundation for love to flourish within us first, right? Something along those lines where like we're learning to be super kind to yourself, like, you know what I mean, like a sort of like unyielding, unwavering self-love, that you don't accept something that puts that to the test in a way, right? That makes you like, that takes you away from that. So a situation that just doesn't feel right in your heart. And the way you know that is that you're just not happy. You're just not like thriving in it, right? And it's not just like not being happy from an ego perspective, which means like it's not just because like somebody just doesn't want to do the things that you want to do, right? Like everybody's entitled to their choices, to their freedom. That's not what this is about. It's more like you're able to tell like when there's an equal give and take in a relationship, for example. And let's say you're with someone where there's no reciprocity, for example. So that's like, you know, that's gonna hurt you, right? That's gonna be like you're gonna put in so much but not, you know, have anything in return, and you're gonna get drained, and then, you know, you're not gonna have anything to give to others or yourself anymore. So like what I'm trying to say with all of this is that your relationships do teach you things. And I think in this case you're really kind of like detaching from whatever held you back in the past. And if there's still like an ongoing relationship or something that you're trying to like leave or release, well, this is the month where it's going to happen. And then the next card we have here is trust your path. So that's really a good confirmation. And it's asking you a question here that I find really really smart. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So ask yourself this question right now. So if you knew, pal number one, that you would be supported, what would you do? So really sit with that and just know, like, if you had unconditional support, you know, what would be the choice that you'd make? Right? Just trust your instincts, trust your path, trust that this is happening for you and not to you, and trust that you can release that, and that your path is like the path that you're on, that you're going to choose to be on, is going to be the right path for you. Because I really feel like you're leaving that, you're wanting to leave that, you've been wanting to leave that, and you are going to leave that. Just trust that this is the right move here. All right, so this is happening in April for you, so that's very exciting. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really happy that you're freeing yourself, that you're listening to yourself, and that you're trusting your path. And like I see this one woman that was freed here. I see her here kind of in the picture and walking towards like this gate, like walking away from whatever she's leaving, but it's so beautiful now. And she's walking to whatever purpose and whatever destiny and whatever like her path, her true path is. Okay, so let's take the next set of cards that we have for you, which is this one here. Let's see. So this card speaks about purity and clarity. As you begin, and oh my God, and I just realized, like, I see like this portal here. It looks exactly the same. Like, it's literally like you're arriving at that portal that she's walking into. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm just gonna show it to you guys. I hope you can see with the sun. I'm sorry about that, by the way. It's casting shadows on the cards. But yeah, she's walking towards that open gate here with the door, and here she's literally at that gate. So that's pretty epic. All right. And they're not from the same deck, by the way. It is the same artist that made the art, but it's a different deck. So anyways, you're really releasing, or if you've already actually like released, or you're like in the process of releasing, and you're like in between, like really fully letting it go, then you're really arriving at that release, at that gate, at that threshold in April. Like, there's no doubt that confirmation is here for you guys. So I just want to make that clear. There's also a full moon. So it might be that this started the full moon that just passed, or like, yeah, it was a full moon well, we had the new moon in Aries, and then I guess the full moon in Libra, and there's another new moon in Aries this April. So anyways, so this card speaks about purity and clarity. I think right now you're walking towards having that clarity. And purity is all about like cleansing. It's all about like letting go of things so that you can see more clearly. So that's what's happening right now, is that as you release what needs releasing, and as you cleanse your surroundings, your relationships, your mind, your heart, things will become more clear. And you won't have any doubt that this is the right path for you. Yeah, and you'll have clarity. You'll have clarity on what your next step is, on what your next moves are in general. It'll just free up a lot of like weight. I also noticed, I just want to say, like here, I see like they're wearing like very airy kind of like dresses, that kind of like a veil that you can see through. And here she's like holding that veil. What did it make me think of? It made me think of something. Yeah, like lifting the veil, right? So the veil has been lifted. No longer like blinded by things in a way, right? You're just going to see more clearly, and there's an eye here. So definitely, I think that's the message here, is that you will see with clarity. Like if right now things are not as cut and dry and as clear as you want them to be, like they will be. They will be. You will see with clarity. Yeah, trust your path. You are headed towards that. Like that's what I feel like. It's you're in like the in-between stage, and that's like a very tricky stage. Like when you're leaving something behind, but you're not fully into like this new reality for yourself. So that's a tricky time, because like it can feel a bit like you're still pulled one way, but you want to go the other way, and it's like it's not easy to navigate. But just trust that you are headed the right way, and that you will have clarity soon, and that things will be a lot easier, right? So let me shuffle this deck to find more information for you on what you need to know, all right, for this month of April, with this surprise, this release that's coming. What do you need to know? Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, it couldn't fit better. I hope you see this card. It says, let go, Barry. Wow. Your cards are like insanely, like they match so well. It's insane. Whew. All right. So let it go. I think it's pretty clear. I'm trying to see if I get anything else from that card. I'm gonna put it here. Maybe get you another card, because I felt like another card wanted to come up for you. So let's see what else you need to know for this release, about this month of April. All right. So with the world here, it makes me think immediately of completion. It does say service here. And, it's like a dog that helps the blind, right? Which I think fits really well with the veil analogy that we had earlier. Yeah, that's crazy. So I think it's just saying like you're doing yourself a service by, not being blinded by whatever was blinding you. But it wasn't fully blinding you, I don't think, because like you still had, like it's still a veil. So that's still a bit see-through. Although here in this card, she looks like, oh no, okay, her eyes are, you can still see her eyes. Yeah, so I think it was like purposefully veiling your eyes almost. You know what I mean? Like when you you're a bit in disbelief about your situation, but you're like, but it's okay. I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna, when in fact, kind of like, in your gut that it's just not right. And I think it's like, yeah, just let go, just complete that cycle. Just bury whatever needs to be buried. And it's also like making me feel of like planting something new with like this little shovel or trowel. I think that's what it's trying to say. Like it's time to plant new seeds. It's time to let go. All right. So let's get the last card here that we have is like the first card that you picked, basically, with the two little stones. And let's see. So that's basically the card that speaks of what can help you unlock this release. All right. And And in this case, it's saying cleanse and protect. And it's associated with the solar plexus. So, I mean, could it fit better? This card was about the same. It was about cleansing, about purity. This one is about cleansing and protecting yourself. Like, not in the sense that, like, your physicality is threatened, but, like, I certainly hope not. More in the sense that you offer yourself self-protection. You offer yourself unyielding, unwavering self-love, that you won't place yourself in situations that compromise that compromise you. I can see somebody resting here in the background of the picture. It's hard to see. And also there's like smoke, but smoke is associated with like if you're saging, you know, like the smoke is supposed to cleanse the environment. There's also incense and different religions that use like the smoke as an agent to cleanse. But it's also making me feel like, also reminding me of the veil a bit. Like the veil is lifting, the fog is lifting kind of thing. So there's like a double message that I'm seeing here associated with your cards. Yep. But yeah, so I can see that the woman is kind of resting in the background there. So I think like also take the time to rest right now. So to unlock this release, to help you with this release, really what can help you unlock this, give yourself the chance to rest. Okay, get some sleep, get some good sleep if you can. All right, through this in the month of April, sleep will be important. So follow whatever sleep hygiene is better for you. What else? And cleansing. Also, like even like if you're into like saging and doing things like that, if you like burning incense, even like lighting up some candles, that might just help in terms of like your mood or literally cleansing the energy in your space. Okay, I would say like do that as well in the month of April to help you release this. What else? Also, I'm getting, just because I started coughing, that if for some reason, for some of you, this is about like if you smoke, if you vape or whatever, and you want to stop, then that might be the case. Like now is the good time for you to release that habit. Obviously, it's not going to be for all of you, but I just wanted to point that out because it just came to me. But yeah, and the solar plexus is associated with your sense of like self-confidence as well. It's where you radiate your light out as well onto the world. Yeah, I feel like you need to replenish yourself right now in order to let that shine back out. That light shine back out. And just as the sun came back out, it's crazy. So many synchronicities in your reading. It's really, really nice to see. So I think I'm going to leave you on that pile number 1. Yeah, I hope that will help you unlock this release. I kind of feel like I want to help you more in terms of unlocking, but I don't see another card deck that's really available to me right now that I can use. Maybe I can use that one. Let me see. Okay, let me just try to pick another one for you guys, okay? Okay, let's try pile number 1. So what else can help them unlock this release? If anything else can help them unlock this release. So yeah, so I just want to say before getting to that card that we have, it's a card of surprises too, so it's really on theme again with your cards. But I just also noticed there's a lot of like greenery in the background as well. So being out in nature might be also something that helps you kind of with that release. Also the fact that we have some trees in the background here, and they're kind of like giving me the same vibe in the background. So yeah, I think it's asking you to also connect with your sense of self-worth, of self-confidence. You know your value as well. Don't doubt it. It's a message that I want to give you as well. And like, yeah, go out in nature a little bit. Take the time to replenish. And here it literally speaks of surprises. It says, under the most ordinary stone is an undisturbed garden. It's like basically telling you like there's definitely a surprise also on your path. Not just the release will come as a surprise to you that you're able to do it with, like, to arrive at that place with such ease. Like, I'm not saying that it's not hard, but like that you've, okay, finally I've made it, right? But yeah, and I think there's more surprises for you, like more positive surprises that are coming your way as well in April. So look out for those things as well. I'd be curious to know how things unfold for you, pile number one. Do let me know in the comments below. And I hope you have an amazing month of April. I'm cheering you on with that release. You can do it, obviously. Like your cards have been insanely, on point and with a lot of synchronicity, a lot of support from Spirit for you guys. So I send you my love, and I hope you have a great month of April. All right, take care, pal number one. Oh, and don't forget to download my free cards if you want some support during that release. All right, take care. Bye bye. Also, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I'm posting next, when the next reading will be. All right, take care. Bye bye. All right, hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. So first off, I have a little announcement. Basically, I have a card deck that's going to come out. It's not yet fully edited yet, so it won't come out yet. But I do have a digital version that I'm giving out for free. And you can find the the link in the description box below. And basically, it's called the Mindset Deck, although I might ask you for your input on what the name of the Oracle deck should be. But that's further down the line. But for now, I just want to offer like as much as I can in terms of helping you with, mindset, emotional well-being, and something that you can use throughout your week to help you. Like if you need just a card, just a bit of guidance, that you have access to something that can help you. And basically also this free version that I'm giving out, I have something called the mindset hacks integrated into them, which means that aside from like the card messages, you also get sort of like exercises and just it's more in depth. And basically that's kind of like a portion that won't be part of the deck once it's published, because that's kind of like what there's a book that's going to come out also on mindset and that I'm writing, and that's actually part of the book. So but you have access to all of that basically, and I want to give it out for free just to help you out, and just so you get a sense of like what it's like to work on your mindset and to see yourself change and shift and really tap into your positivity. So that's really like my purpose and my mission through the readings that I do and my coaching as well. So everything that I do is basically to help you in terms of like your emotional well-being, to help you find yourself, find self-fulfillment, find self-confidence, find all these areas of ourselves that sometimes are hard to connect back to. So there you go. There you have it. Just scroll down in the description box and you'll find the link there. All right, so let's get to your reading right away. Okay, what I'll do, since this is the card that you picked first, so what I'll do is I'll leave it for last. I'm just going to put it to the side here so you can still see it, hopefully. And I'm going to flip the first set of cards that we have for you. All right, so pile number two. Let's get moving on your reading. Okay. All right, so the first card that we have is called the Initiation. It says on it, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. There's lightning. It's like a little bit of a cave-ish vibe. And then there's like this gateway, this door here that opens to something beautiful. And so what this is telling me, because it's talking about like a rite of passage and all of that, I feel like what's happening is that you might be currently moving from one stage of life to the next stage of life. So it might be something like, for example, motherhood, like becoming a new mother or having 2 kids instead of 1 or something along those lines, or like going into retirement or getting your first job, finishing your schooling, and moving on to the next stage, buying your first house, like something big. Right? So it's something big here. Maybe even like going through menopause. Like it could be any of these big like life stages. right? It's not like a small one. I just want to make that clear. Like it could be something like completely changing careers, like if you've done something for a really long time and then you switch, or you've studied in a field, let's say for a while, and you've worked in it, and then all of a sudden you change. Like it needs to be big. It's not just like, oh, I worked at this place and now I'm working at this place. Like it needs to be like a big shift. So this is what this card is telling me, that there's a big shift that's currently happening. And during your month of April, I believe that you're kind of seeing the glimpse of like what the end of that previous era is for you, right? You're kind of like finishing off that big stage of life. So the transition is like almost to its end and you're getting to that new phase. All right. The second card we have is actually transformation. It says things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So literally transformation. And like this card really talks about this, like transforming from one stage to the next. And this is like literally a confirmation of that. And I think, like I said, it's also confirming that because she's like on a throne, on a golden throne, I believe that it's the end of that era, of that stage of life that you're leaving behind and embracing like that new stage that's coming to you. And then here it says, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? With any transformation, obviously, like it's not easy to transform. It's not easy to go from one stage of life to another. At the end of the day, we all have to learn to adapt and be flexible in order for these life stages to be kind of like more like stepping stones than than things that are really like hard to get through, right? And so I think the one of the key messages that I get here is like, because she looks a little not sad, but like, yeah, kind of like she's not 100% sure. And that's fine as well. I just want to mention that it's okay. It's okay not to fully accept something, not to fully accept, the ending of like one era and the beginning of another stage of life, right? It's fully like it's human, right? And you're normal and you're connected to like your humanity through these feelings that you're having right now. And so cherish that as well. But yeah, aside from that, what I get from this card is like, it's basically one of the keys is to ask yourself, what are you being called towards right now? What within you wants to speak most? And that I think will help kind of guide you out and into that gateway that we see here. Like that will help you like finish off this transition and step fully into that new version of yourself. So while it might not be, also the secondary message is, while it might not feel 100% like this is great, right? I'm a new mother, and for me, like I understand also how this plays out. So I just want to mention that. But like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, that like parents will tell you often that it's like you're never fully ready to have a kid. Like you can wait a long time before, if you're like, oh, I just want to feel 100% sure. But it's like you can't ever be 100% sure about anything. At some point, you just got to jump in, right? You just got to, if you want it enough, then it's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? And that's kind of like also a key message here is like, this transition doesn't need to be 100% perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to feel 100% okay with it. You don't, like just let yourself, like give yourself some grace and like let yourself just walk through that gate, because I feel like you're so close, and like don't stop yourself. Don't stay in the dark. Don't stay in that cave. Like just come out. Like look how beautiful it is. It will be beautiful. And it's okay if you don't have all the answers to how this new you will be and how things will happen for you and everything. But like just seeing her on like that golden throne, for me, it's like a card that screams victory, with the sun in the background and everything, the light, like you're stepping out into that. Okay, there's deep healing and there's deep transformation occurring for you, and it's beautiful. Even though you're not feeling it 100%, potentially, Like, look also how beautiful that card is. It might be different from what you've known so far, but that's what the journey is all about. You're really stepping into this new adventure, this new journey of life, where life is taking you next. And one of the things you can do for yourself is just connect more to your soul, right? To your intuition, to what brings you a sense of joy currently. And that might also like change. It doesn't, like, nothing is set in stone, right? Just ask yourself moment to moment, day to day, like take it one day at a time, and ask yourself, like, within I actually have an exercise that's just coming to mind before I finish that sentence, because I don't want to forget. But one of the things I do and teach is take a dice. Okay, it can be like, if you have one, hopefully, like from a board game or whatever. I have one here, actually, it's right there, and it's a 12 faced, but you can take one that's 6 faced, right? And what you can do is ask yourself the question, like, every morning, how can I love myself more today? Or what can I do for myself today? Something along those lines, right? And then you roll that dice. Let's roll this dice. So what can I do to show myself love today? What can I do? So it's a 2. So what you would do is come up with something, like an answer to that question for you, whatever it might be on that day, right? It might be, okay, I want a cup of hot cocoa, or like, something. It could be anything, right? Or I want to take a long bath, or I want to take a hike in nature, or, I'm not gonna overwork myself today. I'm just gonna work this amount of hours, or, I'm gonna take a day off this week. You can, even though it's not for the day, but you know what I mean? You can choose something, right? And then here with this number that you get, look, it could be an 8, or sorry, it could be like a 3 or 4, whatever. Here it's a 2. So you can add that +2 to it. So whatever like energy you're gonna put into like making that hot cocoa or whatever, it's like asking you, okay, up the antes a little bit, like add +2 to your energy. So maybe have that cup of hot cocoa and take like 10 extra minutes to have it. Like, or, like it could be anything. Like, what's a +2 to you, right? So that's why I use that dice. It's just to like, not only are you asking, are you going to make time for yourself, to cherish yourself on a given day, but you're also adding energy to it, as much energy as like that roll of the dice asks you to put, right? So it leaves a little bit like as a surprise and out of your hands in a sense, right? Where you don't have to decide everything, and you can kind of have a little bit of fun with it. But anyways, that was a side note. So let's continue back to your cards. Yeah, so I think a practice like that will help you in your day-to-day. All right, let's get the next card that we have for you. Okay. This card is all about the energy of creativity, of ideas bubbling up, of like the wind turning and changing things. It makes me think of cycles. And so what it's telling me is kind of a similar message, where it's like, take it one step at a time. Because like sometimes when the wind is strong, like it can speak of like the mind is anxious, or like it's not, it's kind of like a little bit of a tornado. The key is literally, like we said, like day by day, one step at a time here, because then the wind becomes kind of like it's in your sails. It becomes your sails, right? Instead of being like a hurricane, it's actually what helps you move. So, yeah, so here it's like it asks for grounding, like whatever ideas and creative, like spontaneous things are bubbling up to the surface right now in your life. It needs grounding. You need to plant certain seeds, sorry, for them to grow, right? So it's asking you to plant those seeds that you believe in, that you've been having. Some of them, some ideas might be reoccurring right now in your life, and I think now what it's saying is now is the time to plant them. In April is a really good time to start, planting those ideas so that they can start to grow in your life. Like I said, the one step at a time attitude, right? Yeah, and even for like if you have an idea on who you want to become through this transition, or as you become this new version of yourself, take it one day at a time, right? Let that seed be planted and let it grow, water it, take care of it. Like, it won't happen overnight. You need to care for it. You need to care for you, basically, and let things happen day by day. But I just want to make clear that the transformation is right here. You're at the threshold of it. You're right at the gateway. You're right at the door. Starting from now, this new you is asking for like less of that whirlwind anxiety and more of that grounded, one step at a time. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I've got this, kind of energy. And I see that coming for you as well. It's amazing that you're right at that threshold right now in your life. So congrats, pile number 2. Let's see. So that's kind of like what you needed to know, like to help you out as well, right? And we have this card here that you chose first, and this is the card that helps you unlock kind of your this transformation in April for you and that big change. So, and that card is the card that says Star Good Fortune. So that's a really good card. It's basically, it speaks about luck, of abundance, of hope. It's really another confirmation that that transformation is occurring successfully. And the key for you in April to unlock, this deep transformation, to kind of ground and take it one step at a time, is really to tap into as well that sense of hope as your star, that sense of, positivity, that sense of abundance, of luck, believing in the best, and believing that the best will come to you, that the best is yet to manifest. So let that be what guides you one step at a time. Let that be the guiding force right now through this transformation. That's the strong message I get. And that's what can really help you unlock this new version of you that's coming. That's right at the doorway right now. You're right there. So it's really what these cards are telling me right now. And it's a very strong message. So let that be your guiding light, your guiding force right now in your life. So maybe one of the questions that you can ask yourself is literally, aside from what can I do for myself today to help me, like with my self-love, to help me with my self-compassion, to help me through this transition, to help me feel comfortable today. Aside from that, I would say like meditating almost on like what it means for you to believe that the best is yet to come, to really tap into that, right? To that energy for you. Any way that you can connect to that sense of like positive hopeful state is like really going to be amazing for you in April. It's really going to help you out. So you're transitioning successfully. Take it one day at a time. Tap into your massive positivity, all right? And take time to rest through this whole transformation. Even though like that's not necessarily like a message I get from these cards, but like just from the energy, I do sense like, I don't sense tiredness. I sense like relaxation. So like whatever time that you have that you can take to also relax. All right, because it's deep work, all of this, all that you've been going through, to arrive at this transition. Like, take the time to really love on yourself. All right. Pile number 2. Let me just get a final message for you here. All right, so let's take this deck and shuffle it. So last piece of information for pile number 2 to help them unlock this transition successfully for the month of April. Okay, wow, we have a lot of cards. Okay, we have 3 cards. We have flow. And I'm just going to put it here because it matches the flow there. Okay. And we have this one here. All right, so we have go with the flow as water trickles down a stream. Do not hurry. That's exactly what we were saying. So take it one step at a time. Like we said, you might have a lot of ideas for like the next stage of life, maybe, or something along those lines also for some of you, right? And it's like really asking you to like take it one step at a time, ground by planting each seed so that they can grow, right? Don't hurry. Like there's no need to hurry. The way to be in your flow right now is literally to take it slow. And then like instead of the wind kind of like whooshing you about in the water, right? Like if it's rapids and stuff and you're not going where you want to go, then the key here is to be friends with the wind. So that the wind is in your sails instead. So that the wind kind of like is a nice breeze on your face and you're swimming where you want to swim, right? So there's that message. There's also here idle hours. So that's literally relaxation. So take some time out to lie on the emerald grass. Literally relax. That'll help you a ton right now. You need it as you transform. This is one of the keys to walking out that door here into your transformation. All right. So all of this is happening in April, by the way, which is great. I'm really happy for you guys. Pile number 2. And then we have cleanse here. Wash your weary spirit clean and take a walk in the wooded glades. Yeah. So basically, yes, just allow worries to drift away. Clean like what needs to be cleaned out from, like the version of you that you're saying bye to. It's okay that if you're not 100% fully like, okay, I'm done, right, with that version of me. It's okay if there's still like some parts of you that, you're going to miss or that are different or whatever. Like I've gone through several ordeals myself in my life. I've gone through like life-saving surgeries and more like twice actually in my life where I almost died. So, and I've had to let go of like that part, like the me that I was before, right? Because I've had to rebuild myself after these surgeries and like it's never easy, right? It's always like this big ordeal that just kind of like throws your whole life in a big giant mess, right? And you got to rebuild emotionally, psychologically, and physically. And yeah, it can be tough when you go through big transformations and changes, right? And sometimes you're not 100% ready to let go of all the parts of you that you're saying goodbye to, that you've left behind, right? But you're becoming a new you right now. And you got to give yourself grace. It's totally normal not to be 100%, right? It's part of like, literally, it's how it's supposed to be. Don't think that this is abnormal or that it's not like, that you're doing this wrong in any way, right? Or whatever. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. You're doing it perfectly and you will arrive at that transformation successfully. You're part of like, yeah, this whole ancestry of people and of humanity that has gone through whatever you're going through, and you will come out victorious from this, and you're right where you need to be, right? So it's with that cleanse, it's just asking you to let things be as they are. Don't hang on to the feelings of sadness as much as you can, right? Accept them for the fact that it's part of like just being human, and that they are a part of this transformation. They are necessary to move from one stage of life to the next. But right now, like, let worries drift away, and you are at the edge of that doorway into that new stage. So for your month of April is a really amazing month in terms of like it being spring and you literally entering this new stage of life, because spring is also closely related to newness, to blooming, to this freshness. So you will be embracing that freshness very, very soon, pile number 2. And yeah, like we've said, just take it easy, one step at a time. And you can do this. Plant your seeds, let them grow. Take your time, love on yourself. All right? All right, pile number 2. Please don't forget to click on like and subscribe and that notification bell to know when I post my next reading. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Before we dive in, I just have a quick announcement to make. So I'm working on the Mindset Oracle card deck, And I haven't launched it in physical format yet. It still needs some editing, but I am offering a free version of it digitally. And basically, you can go to the link in the description box and have access to it. So I'm giving it away for free to help you out in terms of emotional well-being, training your mind for that. So I would love for you to have this card deck as a guide for yourself, so you can use it like if you have a question for your week or whatever, you can just ask the card deck for guidance. And as I've mentioned, it's free, so you can just, you'll draw a card on your phone and then it'll give you access to that card, but also like the guidance that comes with the card, right? So the message. And there's a special item within what I'm offering as well. It's called the Mindset Hacks. And basically that's not part of the card deck. That's not going to be part of the card deck once it's launched. It's actually going to be part of a book. But you are having access to it right now through this free offering, through this link basically that I'm posting in the description box below. So there you go. There you have it. Let's dive into your reading now. All right. Okay. So this is the card that you chose first, and I'm actually going to leave it for last, okay? So we're just going to put it aside here so you can still see it, and then we're going to flip your first set of cards. So pile number 3, the first card up that we have is, where are you being called to journey to? So I get the sense that you're being divinely led somewhere, that things have happened in your life recently, through the past year or 2 years, maybe even, like there's a path that's being opened up for you. And I think you're getting the hint of that. You're kind of understanding that you're kind of being led to that path, but maybe it hasn't been so clear cut from the start. Maybe you've had like a different, different plans for your life, different ways that you would have wanted some situations to unfold, for example, right? But they've unfolded another way. But this is divinely guided, actually. And that's the big message here, is that you have been led by spirit this whole time, right? And you still are. And so that question is, where are you being called to journey to? So right now, I feel like you kind of have more awareness that you're being led. You have more awareness as to where you're journeying to, as to what that next step is for you. And so, yeah, I think for April, this is a big deal for April, in the sense that, you've come to that realization, or you are coming to that realization in April. But not only that, I think you're answering that question for yourself. You're seeing what the next step is for you. You know where you're being called to journey to. You know what where spirit is leading you now. So that's what's coming for you in April. The second card here is saying laying foundations, seeding the light, and also divine plan. And that's exactly what we were saying with this first card. And I'm also noticing another similarity here is that you can see kind of a pathway through the water here. In this card, it's the same. There's a pathway through the water that you're being led towards, basically. So it's definitely speaking of like a pathway for you. There's literally a path that's being shown to you. So it could be in any area of your life, right? But one thing is for sure, you know what this is about. So if you're not too sure, if like this comes as a big surprise to you that you're even being led, I'm not going to say try to pick a different pile, because you're being led here also for a reason, right? You're being led to this pile for a reason. But I do believe that you know what this is about, that you have been guided for a while now. I don't think this has been like since yesterday or like a month ago. This has been going on for a year, 2 years, possibly years, right? That like the universe has been kind of nudging you towards a specific path. So this is a big message for April for you, that you're figuring this out and you're understanding that, right? You're putting everything into perspective, that things have happened as they have unfolded for your benefit, because you are guided towards a specific path. All right. And I can even see like there's towers, and I think it speaks of like that you're headed towards like the right foundation, the right path for you. So let's take the next set of cards that we have for you to add more to this, all right? Let's flip this, put it here. So this card is all about creation. So that means the power of creation, the power of manifestation too. And it's almost like there's an idea that's waiting to be birthed into creation. Just because like you can see like a fire almost here in the belly area and like holding the belly. It's not really fire, it's like a galaxy, a universe, right? So it's like there's a universe waiting to be birthed into creation within you. There is something that you've been called to do. Like this is giving me the vibe of like, I don't know, building something almost like maybe a business, maybe something that you're considering just as a side project, but it's actually like what you're meant to do, for example. Yeah, I'm looking at it from the lens of like career, but it could be anything. It could literally also be actually birthing a child. That could actually be something that, you know, you've been led to that path somehow. But yeah, it can be a different multitude of things. And the point is there is something that wants to be birthed. It could be something that you haven't explored yet as well, like an idea that you've had for a while, something that you've been meaning to try that you've never tried before, that will lead to something great in your life, right? That you're meant to try, that you're meant to do. So really, it could be anything, right? But you know that, and you have that within you. And the question would be like, what I get the sense of is like, have you been holding back on something in your life? Is there something that you haven't really, like an area that you're trying not to look into, or something along those lines, or you want to explore that, but you've been holding back? It's basically asking you to create more time for the new, right? I think that's a big key for you right now, this month in April, is to create more time for the new. Make more space for the new. That will really unlock things for you this month. That will really get you on your divinely guided path. Let's take this card here that you picked first. And that card is basically also what can help you unlock this whole pathway that you're being led towards, right? So we'll see what it says. So it speaks of surrender. I'm just going to put it here. I hope you guys can see it. I'm just going to check. Yes. I see the words door number 1. Like there's a door that's opening for you, or there's a door that you might be aware of that you just haven't like opened yet. Or maybe you've opened and closed it and opened it a bit and closed it back. Like there's something that's left unexplored, but that really wants to be explored. And it also says the words incomparable, like you are matchless, you admitting of no comparison with others. So without peer or equal, matchless, peerless, transcendent. You know, you're unique in that way. That's what the card is talking about. But it's also talking about not comparing yourself to others, right? Like if you're looking at somebody that's already doing what it is that you want to do, and you're like, either like it's being done already, or, you know, what would I add to the conversation, or things like that, that kind of like keep you away from it. It's telling you that, you know, don't do that, because you're unique and you have different things to bring to the table here. And that one of the keys for you to really unlock this new pathway, to really walk that path of purpose that's meant for you, is really not to compare yourself to others currently, and really surrender, like let go of like that self-judgment. Also sometimes like we might be harsh on others, we might judge like how others are doing what we aspire to do, but we do it in a way that's like negative, as a way to protect ourselves as well. So like bring more an awareness to like the patterns of comparison. Like that, it's never like a positive thing, right? Like sometimes, yes, competition and stuff like that can be a motivator, right? But in this case, that's not what this is talking about, right? It's telling you that this is a bit detrimental right now, and that the way to reclaim or to claim that your path, it's And it says here, it's playing your song with the heart. And it's literally like, this is your path to walk. This is nobody else's path. It's a unique path, and it's divinely guided, and it's yours for walking. All right. And it's telling you surrender to that. Surrender to that, to how situations are unfolding in your life, right? Let things happen as they will, but like don't attach too much judgment to how things are happening, right? Give yourself grace as you walk this new, as you open that new door. Give yourself grace, and just, you know, drop comparisons is the big message I get. So that's really gonna help you this month to really unlock and walk that path in April. Like literally, you will be opening that door and walking your purpose, your path of purpose in April. So that's a big deal. It's beautiful, pile 3. I want to congratulate you in advance. I mean, we are already at the start of April, so that's really nice. Let's add some cards to your reading. All right, so we're gonna add a bit more information here for you. Pile number 3, to see what else can help you unlock this divinely guided path that we have for you. We spoke of creating more space for the new that wants to come, for the new ideas that want to be birthed into creation. And we spoke about surrendering and also not comparing yourselves. Okay, we have one card here. Oh, it's speaking about change. So yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, about not being afraid of change, not being afraid of like situations panning out a certain way when you expected them to go a different way, for example, and like just surrendering, like understanding that it's because you're being led to that pathway, right? It's because it is your path to take. And so to let things kind of unfold as they will, right? So it does speak of surrender again here, but in a bit of a different way. So it says here, falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. So if things are ending or if things are changing, it doesn't mean that it's the end. It's quite the opposite. It means that something new is coming in. It means that it's creating space for the new, exactly like we were talking about with this card, is that what's needed right now in your month of April is to make more time for the new that wants to come in. And that might be either saying bye to certain things, certain patterns, certain habits, certain people that aren't, you know, jiving with you at the moment. It doesn't need to be like a long-term thing, but right now, yeah, you might need to just let things unfold as they will, basically. And what you need to focus on instead is walking that path, is birthing your new self into being. All right, pile number 3. I hope that was helpful. And I also notice here that it's speaking of a fruitful season. So it's not just, you know, for your month of April. This unfolding is for April, but it's also speaking of spring in general, because we're in the season of spring currently. And yeah, so it's saying that that energy that you're unlocking is going to continue throughout this month of spring. And obviously it's speaking of a fruitful season. That's great. You're really in the beginning stages of that change, of walking your pathway. So I think this is really nice, pile number 3. I hope this was helpful to you. Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can know when I post next. I will probably do so at the end of the month, or maybe for the new moon in Aries that's coming up, the second one. Take care, pile number 3. It was a pleasure. Bye bye.